Hey, what's up guys? I'm Charles.
And I'm Christine.
Are your Platens all gunked up with adhesive and lint? Do you oftentimes get confused on whether you're loading a shirt on a platen or on the back of a hairy grizzly bear, which is leaving you with a less than ideal printing surface and could possibly be causing unnecessary problems with your printing?
In this video, we're going to be going over why platen maintenance is so crucial and how easy it is to create ideal conditions for your screen printing.
Welcome to Ragged Apparel. Over time, lint from the garments that you're printing will begin to build up on the surface of your platens. Different garments will cause lint to accumulate faster than others. Now this is especially true when printing fleece fabrics like hoodies or thick woven fabrics.
Lint buildup can cause several issues in your printing process, starting with an uneven printing surface. Too much lint under the shirt will cause bumps and unwanted textures that will show up in your print.
Lint buildup can cause heavy or light ink deposits on areas of your shirt. The garments that you're printing may compensate for this to a degree. However, lighter fabrics like tri-blends or performance fabrics like dry fits are especially susceptible. So even a single thread on the top of your platen can show up in your printed graphic.
A heavy deposit of lint on your platen will leave a cushion underneath the garment, which will then result in the shirt pushing away from the screen.
So that's just like your hand pressing down on the top of a sponge. Having that cushion is going to cause you issues with having the ink lay down properly on the surface of the shirt. That's also going to cause you issues with properly clearing the screen.
Because you have issues clearing the screens, many screen printers compensate by multi-stroking the print and/or increasing the squeegee pressure.
Now the combination of the cushion below the garment, as well as the excessive pressure of the squeegee and excessive print strokes, are going to cause the ink to smash out from the edges of your stencil. This is going to cause a smeared edge as well as a ghosting effect on your image.
Having too much lint buildup will cause your platen adhesive to be less effective. Adhesive is an important factor in printing because it prevents the garment from shifting on the platen.
Now we're going to be doing an entire video all about different adhesives. So make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. That way you're notified when we upload that video.
Since having excessive lint is going to cause your adhesive to be less tacky, you're going to have to stop your printing process and reapply your adhesive more frequently.
Now this is going to cause you unnecessary expense in utilizing excessive amounts of adhesive. It's also going to cost you a lot of money in production time because anytime that your press is not turning, you're not making any money.
Now for the small shops, the impact of stopping the press can be minor. However, the impact can be huge in the shops running multiple presses.
These issues can also compound very quickly. A manual press operator is going to look at their print after every screen is printed. So they may be able to notice a misprint due to one or a combination of issues pretty quickly, which is going to minimize their losses.
However, an automatic press has anywhere between 8 to 20 or more platen stations, and the print is often not even seen until it reaches the unloading station. So any deficiencies in the printing may not even be seen up until that point. And by the time anyone does see it, you potentially could have already wasted 8 to 20 or more garments.
To make things worse, although the shirt puller is your first line of defense, when an auto is working at full speed, the puller only has a fraction of a second to be able to do a precursory inspection of that garment when they're placing it on the conveyor dryer. Most shops leave the quality control to the catcher at the end of the conveyor dryer. So by the time the catcher notices that misprint, you may have potentially misprinted and ruined 50 or more garments.
So you can see how this can become a huge problem really quick. Thankfully, this can be resolved by keeping your platens clean.
A clean platen is going to provide you with a smooth and sturdy print surface. This is going to create optimal conditions for proper ink laydown, which is going to result in a smoother and more even print. And a clean print surface is going to allow your palette adhesive to work properly. This results in less print strokes, lighter squeegee pressures, and ultimately results in faster printing speeds. This is also going to cause much less wear and tear on your body if you're a manual printer.
By correcting these issues, you will utilize less ink, less adhesive, and avoid unnecessary downtime. You also prevent wasted garments due to misprints, which altogether will result in greater profit margins.
A common problem that we see with a lot of shops is that they put their adhesive directly onto their platens. But cleaning adhesive and lint buildup from the platens is an extremely labor-intensive and time-consuming job.
We've seen shops use all kinds of chemicals like mineral spirits, paint thinners, and other chemicals to try and clean their platens.
We've seen shops use scrapers, grinders, electric drills with wire brushes, and all sorts of crazy things trying to clean their platens.
But these sort of things aren't only labor intensive, but they're also caustic and bad for the health of those working in the shop, not to mention the harm it causes the platens.
And if our goal is to create the optimal printing surface, it seems really counterproductive, doesn't it?
A much better solution is to use platen tape to cover your platens.
Platen tape is inexpensive, it's easy to apply and remove, and it makes maintaining a proper printing surface a quick and easy job. There are many manufacturers of platen tape, and they're all available at your favorite screen print supplier.
Here at Ragged Apparel, we use Conform application tape from our tape.
Conform is not specifically made as a platen tape. It's actually made for the sign industry for the application of vinyl graphics. However, since we're also a sign company, we utilize Conform in a lot of applications, and we found it to be very useful as a platen tape as well. A really nice thing that we found about Conform is that it comes in a variety of widths. This is great for protecting your standard size platens as well as specialty platens like those made for sleeves. Another great and important thing is it removes easily and leaves no adhesive residue. This is essential in any platen tape that you utilize, and really that should be the case in whatever platen tape that you choose. Alright guys, now let's do a quick demonstration of just how easy it is to change out your platen tape. Now we just finished printing a job and we do have some lint buildup on our platens. It's not an excessive amount, but on our next job we're going to be printing some performance fabrics. So I do want to switch this out so that I don't have any problems. I want to make sure I have the ultimate printing surface once I go into printing those dry fit material shirts. Now one thing I do recommend is that anytime you go to change out your platen tape, make sure that you preheat your platens first. It's going to soften the adhesive on the platen tape just enough to make it quite a bit easier to remove that platen tape. If you're switching over your platen tape just after printing, no problem, you're good to go. If you're going to be switching your platen tape at a time you haven't just been printing, throw them on the flash for a little bit, heat them up. I promise you it'll make your life a lot easier. So to switch this out, all I've got to do is grab the back here, peel up on this, and just start peeling away. I tore it here just a little bit. I'm gonna grab that. Okay. Nice and easy. And sometimes, usually you're able to peel it all off in one piece. Not this time, that's okay. Still pretty easy and quick. All right. All right, guys, and there you have it. That's all it takes to get your platens back to looking brand new. So let's go ahead and jump in and show you how to reapply the platen tape, and you're back to printing. Now our standard platens, the platens that we use for the majority of our jobs, they're 16 inches wide, and so we like to use an 18-inch wide roll of tape. That way we can wrap it around the platen and protect the sides as well. A lot of printers, they like to use a tape that's the exact same width of their platens, and that's perfectly fine, just totally up to what you want to do. Now some of these techniques that I'm going to show you are not necessarily specific to screen printing and more specific to the sign industry, vinyl application, car wrap application, that type of thing. But it's great to know these techniques because it's going to allow you to get the optimal printing surface for your platens. So to apply this platen tape, it's really easy. We're going to pull out a little bit of the tape here. And I'm going to take it right over to the back edge. And I'm going to kind of center my tape mostly, kind of straighten it out as much as I can on this platen. Now, if I don't get it perfectly straightened out, that's just fine because we can fix that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this platen tape and I'm going to stick it over the edge about 1.5 inches inch, just somewhere around there. I'm gonna seal off the back edge here, and what that's doing is, this is called an anchor. It's gonna hold it down as I roll it out. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll this out, and I'm going to hold it here. I'm gonna take my squeegee, and right here along the edge of where the tape is, I'm going to cut it here and run it across just like a knife. Cut that tape right off. Now, as you can see, I did not get it perfectly straight, and this is the example I'm wanting to show you. Here we've got a thicker area. This side is a narrow area. So I didn't get it on there perfectly straight. Could you put it on like that? I suppose so. Do I like to put it on like that? Absolutely not, because I want everything to be nice and even. I want to make sure that I have a good, clean printing surface. So all I'm going to do is lift this up enough till I get to the anchor point. I'm going to straighten it out, and I'm just going to twist this. And I'm going to look at this edge here. I'm going to make sure that this edge is straight. So now I have an equal amount on both sides. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor my tape right here. Now you can see we got a big old bubble mess here. Perfectly fine. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift up this side to this anchor, and I'm going to pull it taut to this edge. I'm going to re-anchor down on this side. Now I'm going to re-anchor on that side because I like to work my squeegee coming towards me instead of going away. So now my material is completely straight. I'm going to bring it back up, and when I pull it back, I'm going to pull it towards me, and I'm also going to pull the corners out away from each other this direction. So I'm going to bring it up, pull it down, set it down in place, and now I'm going to start to squeegee. Now as I squeegee, I want you to notice the action of the squeegee, the movement of the squeegee that I'm making. As I'm going to start in the middle, I'm going to start in the middle this direction, and I'm going to have a slight angle pushing out towards the end corner. So I'm going to come from here, and then I'm going to make that same angle coming the other direction. I never do this. Doing this kind of motion, that's going to cause you to get wrinkles, it's going to cause you to get bubbles inside your material, and that's no good. We don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to start here, come from the back, and start laying it down. All right, so you can see that motion is going to push any air out away from the material. It's extremely important, especially when working with a material like this that's going to have air release technology. If by chance you do get a bubble, you do get a wrinkle in there, I want you to stop and fix it. You got to stop and you got to fix that, because we are creating the optimal printing surface. If you're going to have a bubble or a wrinkle in your printing surface, that's going to give you the exact same headaches as if you were to have too much lint built up on there. So let's imagine I have a bubble here. I'm just going to pull this up past the bubble, bring it back down, and then continue. Just like that. Beautiful, nice, perfect flat surface. Okay, at this point, what I'm going to do is I am going to seal my edges. Now, the way I like to seal my edges is I like to take the corners in first, here, here, and the backs. And then I'm going to take my back, I'm going to break it back, my front, bend it in, and then my sides, bend it over. Just like wrapping a present. The final thing that I do is I take my squeegee edge and I run it all around the sides of my pallets, seal it off. Now I'm ready to reapply my platen adhesive and get back to printing. Now, something to keep in mind is you want to make sure you use a stiff squeegee with flat edges. There are several different types of squeegees available, and they all have a purpose. But for this specific application, I don't want you to use a squeegee with felt coverings like these. Now, these are great for applying vinyl materials or in wet applications to prevent scratching of vinyl. However, just like lint buildup provides a cushion on your printing surface, so does the felt on a squeegee. The softer surface can cause you to develop air bubbles or wrinkles in the material surface, and since we are not using a material that has air release technology, that can be greatly amplified. So it is essential that you use a squeegee that has a nice flat and stiff edge, just like these. Now, if you do happen to get a squeegee that has felt material like this one, you can go ahead and remove that material and you're good to go. I also want you to note when utilizing the squeegee, I use one side to apply the platen tape and the other side to seal the corners and edges of the platen. Now, as you can see here, the squeegee will eventually begin to break down from rubbing it along the edges of the pallet, causing it to develop grooves. If you use this side of the squeegee to lay down your material, it will leave air pockets and wrinkles in your platen tape. So it is essential that you utilize one side of the squeegee to apply and the other side to seal the edges. A common mistake that I see a lot of shops do is that they'll roll out their platen tape, cut it off, and then they'll use the roll of the platen tape to push back and forth across the surface of the platen in order to adhere the platen tape to the platen itself. This is extremely bad practice. It may seem like a fast and easy way to get that down, but again, we are trying to create the optimal print surface. By doing this, you're just gonna cause a lot of problems and headaches for yourself in the future by causing your plans to have air bubbles and wrinkles and just a mess load of trouble later on. Now, when I demonstrated putting the platen tape on, it may have taken me a minute to do it because I was demonstrating and explaining to you. But in reality, it takes us no time at all to tape up the platens, squeegee it down correctly, and we're off to printing again. It really is an essential thing to do this correctly. Again, I can't stress enough, we're trying to create the optimal print surface here. Don't sabotage yourself by cutting corners. It's lazy, and it's just gonna cause you a lot of headaches in the future. It's much better practice to get it done correctly the first time.
So how often should you be cleaning your platens? That's largely dependent on your particular shop and also the jobs you are printing.
A garage shop or a small shop may be able to go several weeks, a month, or maybe even more before they need to change their platen tape. On the contrary, for a medium-sized or larger shop, it's typically their standard operating procedure that they require their employees to change their platen tape every single day. And even larger shops, they'll change their platen tape between every single job. But that's also the difference between a shop that averages an order of maybe 25 garments and a shop that averages an order of 20,000 garments or more.
Also, less expensive garments typically seem to leave more buildup than the higher priced garments.
Take into consideration how your platens look at that moment and what you're going to be printing next. The fabrics and the quantity of the garments that you're going to be printing are often going to dictate whether or not you need to change your platen tape. Our greatest piece of advice to you is to never put yourself into a situation where you're having less than ideal printing surface for the job that you're about to tackle next. Also, if you're going to make it your SOP for your company that you're going to change your pallet tape on a daily basis, we recommend that you change that tape at the end of the day when you're doing your cleanup. That way everything is ready to go the next morning and you're not trying to prep your pallets before you start printing.
We hope that you have learned the importance of maintaining clean platens as well as a proper printing surface.
Keeping your platens clean doesn't have to be difficult or time consuming, but it really is vital in creating your best print as well as preventing downtime and unnecessary expenses.
We hope that you have enjoyed this video of how to maintain clean platens. We'd also appreciate it if you would like our video, subscribe to our channel, and also click the bell icon so you can get notified when we upload new content.
We're all about creating content that's designed to provide you with valuable information that's going to help you become a better screen printer and also help you run your screen printing shop. We also want to send out a special thank you to our daughter Taylor, who helps us with our content creation and is a producer for our channel. We will see you guys on the next video.
Bye guys.